Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Alanna Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope that you're doing really well in this moment, and that whenever and wherever you are on the planet, that you're remembering to treat the kind and helpful strangers around you with an equal amount of love and respect that you would treat your own family and friends. And what I'm talking about are the people that serve you, the people that are there to do a job that makes your life better and easier. The person who bags your groceries, or the checkout man at the grocery store, or even the produce guy at the grocery store. I went to the grocery store today, so those are my examples today. Or the taxi driver, Uber, or Lyft, especially Lyft. I love Lyft. Drivers, or just anyone, servers in restaurants. I hope that you're remembering to make eye contact and ask them how their day went and how are they. Make them feel loved and appreciated, just like you would your own family, your own mother, your own child, or best friend. Because, especially nurses in hospitals, because, they have one of the worst jobs as far as the crap they have to put up with from people, from sick people who feel like crap, from doctors who are stressed out and don't have a lot of patience and might have a temper and an ego, especially the surgeons. But whoever it is that is in your life in the next week, make sure you make a habit of making eye contact and sending them love. You don't have to tell them out loud, obviously, because that's insane to tell a stranger, hey, I love you, dude. They'll just think you're high. But if you just spend a few moments asking God to bless them, ask God to protect them and their families, ask God to awaken them if they're sleeping spiritually. Just ask God to be present with you as you're present with them. As you allow other people, especially the strangers in your life that are the kind and helpful strangers, allow them space and grace. And allow yourself the space and the grace and all the people you know as well. But just be very extra special to people this week, because let's face it, by the time you get this, it's going to be the winter solstice, so the pagans are busy getting their holiday together, and the very next day is Hanukkah, and so the Jewish people are getting all their stuff together, and in 4.5 days, we've got Christmas. Actually, 3.5 if you want to count Christmas Eve. And all the Christians are getting their stuff together, and it's a fun and beautiful time filled with joy and light and love and beauty, but also it's a little stressful. People are buying gifts for one another, they're planning their menus, they're making things they don't normally make. We don't normally go around making cookies and pies for the weekend or for the special occasion. That's a special occasion thing. Maybe some of you do. But for the most part, my son and I made cookies around Halloween, and we had a blast with it. We kept the massive amount of dough that he made. He made it from his own recipe, didn't want to share with me, wanted to keep it a secret, and he did the recipe, And he wanted to amaze me, and he did. Oh my God, they were the best cookies ever. But I have to see, maybe I have to look it up and get a different recipe, and I'll surprise him this time. But we have plans to make cookies. He's like, I'm going to make oatmeal cookies. I'm like, yes. And I bought cranberries that are dried for our oatmeal cookies. Instead of oatmeal raisin, we'll do oatmeal cranberry. And I said we could do oatmeal cranberry, chocolate, and walnut cookies because that sounds super festive. So we were kind of excited about that. But we're also going to do sugar cookies for Santa, and we're going to make buttercream frosting, and that was our mission today, was to get most of the ingredients for buttercream frosting. Tomorrow we have to actually take sugar, blend it in a blender, or maybe use my coffee grinder to turn it into powdered sugar to make the buttercream frosting, because it's really hard to find that kind of sugar here. So that's our mission tomorrow, is trying to locate vanilla for the buttercream frosting. We didn't find that today, but we want to make cookies for Santa. My son's 17 years old, and he's like, we have to make cookies for Santa. Last year we saw Santa, but we're not going to talk about that until Christmas Eve, because this is real. It's very real to me. I've seen the energy. It's pretty cool. And speaking of energy, I wanted to tell you guys, actually today, yesterday, while I was recording the show, Sarah O'Brien was on, and she was doing a live show on YouTube at the same time I was recording my show. So it's funny that at the end of my show, I went and listened to her show, and I was like, oh my God, she was saying some of the same things I was saying. Not 100%, of course. Her stuff is way different than mine usually, but some of the stuff that she's been saying was stuff I was saying about the sky being amethyst in color, like amethyst, that almost like like a pale amethyst. If you've ever seen a stone of amethyst that's like it's got a lot of stripes in it, and it's kind of like the round, flat, shiny stones that people polish, and they're very, very pale purple. That's the exact color of the sky lately. And at night, the sky has been like a hot pink. Usually, even with a cloud cover, the sky here is orange because of the lights here are kind of, they're not bright. We don't have bright white city lights. We have kind of that amber, orangey, kind of the softer tone orange lights, because it's less harsh for nature. And the parents across the street don't seem to mind. They do get up about 3:30 in the morning these days. And then other times of the year, they get up 90 minutes later because, we have a 90-minute difference from the shortest day to the longest day. Maybe that's a lie. I think it's 20 minutes, actually. So I don't know why they're getting up. They were getting up at 5:30. Now they're getting up 2 hours early, so I don't know why that is. It might just be some of the weird stuff going on with the cosmic radiation, actually. But the sky has been absolutely pink, like a hot pink. And I don't know if I'm just seeing it with the quantum vision I'm starting to develop. I'm looking out of my third eye as well as my eighth chakra to see it, because that's how I could see the energy better. But like last night, the sky was freaking pink, like a hot pink. And today my son and I are waiting for the taxi for 30 minutes, like I said. And we're looking at the sky going, oh my God, it's like amethyst purple and pink, and then a baby turquoise blue on the horizon. It was just so strange. I mean, the colors here have always been beautiful. It's always been, this is, the cloud forest. Ecuador is literally in the Andes Mountains. It's called the cloud forest, but because it's so beautiful, and it's just, you never get bored looking at the sky here. If you're really into nature, of course. If you're not, then you get hella bored, I suppose. But but the skies are beautiful. But the turquoise blue, and then the baby blue, like baby blanket blue. It's been just so pale blue and so ethereal. The wind is blowing the opposite way today, and so all the ash is gone. It rained and rained and rained a lot and knocked down a lot of the ash. So The air's been fresh and clean and pure. But that purple and that pink. And Sarah O'Brien last night said, it's purple and it's pink. Something else that she said, though, she talked about a lot of the earth changes I had talked about, but I barely mentioned them, and she went into some detail. And in Suspicious Observers, he also went into some detail from yesterday. And so I wanted to tell you guys that the 30 feet of snow that was dumped in Iceland, and I told you it was gale force winds, I did not know it was 130 to 140 mile an hour winds in Iceland. That's like almost hurricane. It's, hurricanes could be 200 miles an hour, but maybe more, but it's almost reaching that. Like in Iceland, that's not normal. Also, I found out through Suspicious Observers, that the fires in Australia have reached such a massive, they're really, really bad, and they've never had anything like this before. I'm sure they've had fires there, but not like this. And I saw footage today of fires that were 200 feet tall, taller than the tallest trees in the fire. In the forest or bush or whatever, what have you. These trees are absolutely, everything's on fire in Australia. It's crazy. But 200 foot tall fires, like a pillar, an actual pillar of fire. I think that the words pillar of fire might be in the Bible to describe the end times. I'm not sure. I could be mistaken. And if I'm right, let me know, guys. Have I ever heard? I'm sure I heard the words pillar of fire. If anyone of you know your Bible, I'm an ordained minister. I should know this more, but I'm pretty sure I did remember hearing that, And so there's that. That's one thing that I just thought was crazy, but it reminded me of the campfires in Paradise, and they had 200-foot pillars of fire as well, and they were like fire nados. They were like swirling like a damn tornado. People were like panicking and trying to get out of town, and then they saw that and they're like, oh my God. And they stop and turn on their cell phones are you guys seeing this? Because that's not normal. That's new. And it reminded me of what's going on in Australia. So there's that. Something kind of cool happened to me yesterday. I told you guys I've been feeling the presence of my twin flame with me for about a week every night. I'll feel him touch my cheek or stroke my hair or put his hand on my shoulder or my arm, or I'll feel him leaning up against my back as I sleep. I felt that a couple times. But last night, I smelled his cologne. He had been getting ready in my bathroom. Now, I assure you, it has been 13 months since another male besides my own son has been in this house. So I'm sure it's not obviously I cleaned my bathroom since then, so why would I have the scent of a man's cologne fresh, like it just been sprayed, and no one had taken a shower in my bathroom for the whole day. And I walked in there and the energy in my bathroom was hot and humid, like someone had just showered. And I felt like I smelled like a shaving cream scent and cologne and maybe a faint whiff of hair gel. Like someone was going out, he was getting ready to go out, and that was in my bathroom. That scent was in my bathroom. And I'm like, whoa. And I contacted by telepathy my twin flame's higher self, and he was like, yeah, he's getting ready to go out. Like, that was really weird. Very, very weird. So, and I have, even with my allergies, even when I had a cold, I have a very keen sense of smell. I'm an aromatherapist. I'm really good with scents. I mean, you could put a couple different aromatherapy essential oils together in a bottle, mix it even with a carrier oil, and I could pretty much tell you almost all the ingredients, if not all of them. I'm really good at that. It's one of my really bizarre talents. So I'm very good at smelling scents, right? And how I pick out tea at night when I want to go have tea, I ask my body, hey, body, you want some tea? And I do muscle testing, and usually the answer is yes. And then I will smell the teas and say, do you want this one? And I'll smell it, and as I smell it, I'm sensing the energy of the tea, and I'm sensing the vibration of my body and the vibration of the tea, and I'm seeing where the vibration is. And then I'm being very aware of my body when I sense, do I feel a yes energy or a no, not right now energy? So, I mean, my sense of smell, it's weird, but my sense of smell is something I've always prided myself on. And it's one of those things that maybe I take for granted, possibly. But as I went shopping with my son today, I suddenly lost all sense of smell for like the whole day, the whole afternoon. And on into the evening, even till right now, like I have this Glade candle that I can smell, but barely. And I know it must be super, super, super smelly, because it's a Glade candle, right? And I'm like, I smelled all the other candles. I'm like, this one has a faint odor. That one's kind of nice. And then I smelled that one, like, oh, wow, that one's really nice. I can actually smell it. I'm like, there's something wrong with my sniffer. I don't know why, but there's something wrong with my snoot. And I went to the coconut aisle, and I was trying to buy olive oil, and I totally forgot about olive oil, and I totally thought I bought it. I spent an hour tonight looking for olive oil that I didn't buy, trying to figure out where my son put it away. And of course, when he helped me put the dishes away, the groceries away, he didn't put it away because we had never bought any. I was like perplexed. I had to sit here and read this long ass grocery list, 2 weeks worth of food, and it's not on there. But I guess I got distracted by the coconut oil. And normally there's only 2 brands or 1 brand, and I know one is absolutely horrible. It smells like a little bit like gasoline. It's like a really horrible smell. So I always pick the other one, but that one has a little bit faint odor of that. And it might be there's terpenes in the coconut oil or something. I'm not really sure what it is, but I know that in Peru, the coconut oil, I got some that was so amazing that my body was craving it, and I'd have a couple tablespoons every day. And it made me feel amazing, gave me a lot of energy. And I know that in Colombia, I got for $3 a pretty big jar of coconut oil that was excellent. And I know that for whatever frickin' reason, and I know coconuts grow here, but the coconut oil has always been substandard, in my opinion. And I found a brand I've never seen before, and it's called Eco Love, and it was like $11. And it was it's as tall as my hand. It was like 7 or 8 inches tall, but it was a pretty big bottle. It was like a chunky peanut butter sized bottle of coconut oil. So it's worth it. But it had leaked. Like it felt like on the bottle, like one of the other coconut oil bottles next to it in the crate had broken and leaked, and the whole thing was covered in coconut oil. So I kept trying to smell it. I literally could smell nothing. And I said to my son, can you smell this? And he's like, yeah, it's coconut oil. It smells like coconut oil. It's normal. I'm like, well, does it smell bad or does it smell good? He's like, I don't know, Mom. It's normal. It smells good. All right. And I looked, and the purity was really good. The quality, the whiteness of the coconut oil was very, very white, which usually is a sign of high quality coconut oil. I really get into my tropical fruits and stuff. I really do. It's like I live in the exact perfect country for me, because all of my most favorite things in the whole wide world, including coconut oil and cacao oil and everything, you get it pretty cheap here for the most part. I need to find a farmer that does his own coconut oil that's excellent, but we'll get to that. But what really shocked me and surprised me is that I just don't have a sense of smell today. Yesterday I was fine. Today, not at all. I don't, and I feel healthy. I feel good. I only slept 6 hours, but I feel good. And everything seems to be good, but my sense of smell is gone. I'm wondering if this is happening to you guys, because it's driving me nuts. Obviously, I keep going on and on about it. So I'm not going to go on and on about it. I'm going to stop. But it's just very weird. Very, very weird. Okay. Today a deep 6.1 earthquake hits Hindu Kush. Is that like a really excellent weed? Hindu Kush? That sounds like, I want to get a pound of that. Okay. It's a region of Afghanistan and they call it Hindu Kush. They're just teasing me at this point. Okay. Deep 6.1 earthquake hits the Hindu Kush region of Afghanistan. I did see that in the past week on Suspicious Observers, in Gabon, I think he said there was 3 places in Africa that normally don't get earthquakes that got earthquakes in the 6-point-something area of earthquake level. And then now here it is in Afghanistan as well. And God bless the families of the 2 firefighters that died near Sydney, Australia, battling the fire. Our hearts go out to them. Massive floods hit Cantabria. It has been the worst in history in Spain. I mean, there's pictures of cars floating down the river that used to be a street. Lot of crazy earth news today. The aftershocks for the Mindanao 6.9 earthquake in Philippines, 1,017 aftershocks. 210 now have been injured, and 12 people have been killed. So that went up by 3 people, and more than double the amount injured. So our prayers go out to the Philippines tonight as well. That earthquake was a very shallow earthquake, so it did a lot of damage. Depends on where it originates from, deep in the earth or higher up on the tectonic plates. And that's the problem when they're very shallow. So series of storm systems bring heavy rain, flooding, mountain snow, and very rough surf to Northern California, all the way up through the Pacific Northwest. And this is going to continue on in through the weekend. In Los Angeles, they're supposed to get a lot of rain Sunday. So, if you're in these regions, just, be careful. Get your slicker and rain boots ready. Or maybe just don't go out at all. Just be careful. Make sure you have provisions. Make sure you have provisions. It's with as crazy as this world has been, it's just really a good idea to have 3 weeks worth of food, 3 weeks worth of water. Sarah O'Brien has been saying if you get a can of Crisco, just like basically lard or that, it's like weird. It's like, I don't know, is it animal lard? I don't even know what Crisco is. It's some kind of weird white oil that's solid. And what you do with Crisco, don't eat it. It's so bad for you. But what you do with Crisco is you get those tall candles. You get a big, big, big can from Walmart, and you get those tall candles, the taper, just normal, elegant dinner taper candles, and you put 3 of them in one of those big jars. Space them evenly from the center and the sides, and just put 3 candles, and you can burn that and just shove it all the way down into the Crisco. So if you're in a very cold place right now, this is the best advice ever. And she was saying that you light it and it will just burn for like months, depending on how big a can you got. It can last like 3 months without being blown out. So that is the thought. And you could cook on that too. If you really, really were desperate, that would be something you can do. Just be careful. I mean, for me, if it was me, I'd be like, make sure you got a really decent awning and a barbecue, and you can barbecue outside. Get your charcoal, your lighter fluid, get all that ready, keep it in the garage or whatever. if you live in a house, or if you have, even if you have an apartment building and you've got like a little tiny storage unit right next to your car. Some places provide that. I know here they do, and parts of LA they did. I've known people who had really nice apartments that had that weird outside storage, where you could keep a little tiny tabletop barbecue. You know, just keep your stuff. Get really nice sleeping bags. This is a really good time in the U.S. to buy sleeping bags because no one wants to go camping in this cold and in this rain. So sleeping bags are on sale. So are tents. And if it's really cold in your house and your power goes out and that's how you heat your house, you could sleep inside a tent inside your house. You know, you've got those heat packs that are good for your, that help your back. This is how I survived when I was in Detroit. We had to, when our power went out and our pipes burst. Oh my God, we had to go. My son said that was like the longest winter of his life because we had to go outside. And every time we went outside, the neighbors all knew we were going to the bathroom because you know how snow is. It's very silent. So anyone coughs, the whole neighborhood can hear it. Completely ridiculous. It was like the most ridiculous winter of my life as well. Yeah. But we had a porta potty and some kids like, you're so poor, you have to poo outside. He said that to me as I was coming out of the porta potty in this massive blizzard. And I'm like, first of all, young man, why are you outside? It's too cold to be outside. And second of all, this motherfucker cost me $360 a month. So if I was poor, I would be pooping in my yard without a porta potty. And he's like, oh, right. Fair point. Okay, I'm going to go home now before you tell my mom. I'm like, all right. You know, it was like it was like a conversation I had with this little kid. He's like 12 years old or something. I was like, so please don't make fun of us. Thank God I had enough money to provide my kids with a bathroom one way or the other. Everyone's pipes burst. Not everyone, but most people's pipes burst out. That was a very cold winter when we were there. Yeah. I'm grateful I'm not there now, just to be honest. But even though I love Detroit, I miss the symphony and the Institute of the Arts and the zoo, and my neighbors were pretty darn cool people. But so anyway, more headlines. Dire situation after months of devastating floods in the Republic of Congo. The government urges international community to help. So I don't even know at this point, guys. I mean, maybe we could just start giving to the Red Cross, you know? I don't know. Who's making the relief efforts for all these places? Maybe if they could decide who's the most dire need. Everyone needs right now. Hundreds of villages submerged in Riau as they declare a state of emergency as severe weather leaves 6 people dead and 62,000 people affected in Indonesia. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of people. And you know what? Do you remember a couple months ago? Maybe you guys remember this. I don't totally remember what the prediction was, but wasn't it like a third of the people they're going to go? This is going to be the last Christmas for a lot of people on the planet. Did I say half? Or a third will go? Or 75%? I don't know what I said. I can't remember. I was in trance when I was channeling God, and I don't know what's changed, and have we hopped a timeline? I don't know. And plus there's, you know, humans always have a choice. We have free will on the planet. We do. We have free will. So if people decide to wake up spiritually, maybe things get better. I don't know. You know what? Okay, this is what, Organite works, and that rain thing. Oh my God. I did a whole show on this now. The guy who did the Organite and the rain, the generators, and some of these generators, it not only causes rain, sometimes it stops it and evens out the weather, including temperature. But I don't know if it's going to work because I think it works with the magnetosphere, and we're screwed with not having a magnetosphere. I mean, it's there, but it's like a massive crack in it to allow all the space and cosmic radiation. So I don't know. I'm trusting God on this one. I think that it's all going to be okay. That we just have to trust. We have to, just love each other, love ourselves, love the people we don't even know, but who are in our lives anyway, even if it's for 5 minutes. It is what it is. It is what it is. We just have to trust that everything is on the right path. It is what it is. So before I get into the Schumann resonance for today, I wanted to tell you guys something funny. First of all, I know I hopped a timeline. I told you in the past several days, several times I've been aware of hopping a timeline. It's such a really small thing. Usually your world is only 2% different, and unless you're paying attention to absolutely everything in your world, you're not going to be 100% aware at all. But when I took a shower today, I have this really expensive specialized shampoo and conditioner without the methyl parabens I told you guys about before. Hask, they have excellent, their argan oil shampoo and conditioner. It's excellent, but you have to, it kind of coats your hair a little bit, and so you have to kind of rinse it out with apple cider vinegar. After 2 or 3 uses, you have to start supplementing with apple cider vinegar rinse before you use the shampoo again. But it coats your hair and keeps it very soft and luxurious. It's really lovely. But a couple things about this. Today I get in a shower and my shampoo's been watered down. No one's been in here. My son wouldn't do that to me. He knows I'm a Virgo, and I'm really, really nitpicky about things. I don't try to be, but it's just my personality. Plus, I'm a little bit on the spectrum, and so I just don't like my stuff messed with. And I know he wouldn't do that to me, right? He's got his own shampoos, got his own thing going on. He's got his own bathroom. He's got his own room, his own world. So I know he didn't do it, so I didn't even ask him about it. But it really bothered me, and I just realized, it's the other me that was on this timeline before I hopped onto this timeline, that maybe I had used extra shampoo and I had added water just to make it easier to get out of the bottle or something. The shampoo itself is pretty thick, but so that was something that I did. But something that the Duende did a couple days ago, I forgot to mention this. Remember, I kept saying for a couple days, wait, there was something else or something else. It was such a weird thing, but I just noticed it. Is that I noticed this today is I was a merchandiser for years. I was a little bit bored at home. I was just trying to figure out some things, and my husband was complaining that I don't have enough money to help pay for bills. Things were starting to get tight, so I started my own home-based business. I was making really good money, but he still made some comment, and I'm like, okay, fine. And I went and I got 3 jobs that were part-time jobs, but I was working anywhere from 6 hours to 60 hours per week. It just depended on the season. Sometimes I was out of town for 3 days doing holiday sets at Home Depots, like in various, places. But the majority of my work was to make sure that there were coupons, the coupon stickers, the ones that you walk in and you see your favorite product and it says, now 30% off, now 30% richer, now 30% more, whatever. I was one of those people that would go to the store and pop those stickers on those bottles. You might have saw the bottles yesterday, but today they have a sticker on them, so they look brand new. And you're like, wow, they're really making a lot of sales here. No, it's just someone came in and put stickers. But the other job I had was to face things where you rotate things out. You make sure that everything is in date and compliant with the laws. And stores will hire a company or brands will hire a company, so like I might just do work with only Revlon this week, or only the beauty products like Goody hair products or whatever, or yogurt, so like Yoplait specifically, sometimes it was specific by brand, sometimes it was anyway. But one of my jobs was to face things, and to face things means that everything is facing forward so you can read the labels, and everything is lined up perfectly with the edge of the shelf, and everything looks like we have a lot of stuff in stock, because psychologically that gives you the feeling of plenty. You feel like there's plenty, you feel like you have enough, and then you want more, and you feel comfortable spending your money. It's all subconscious. If you walk into a store and everything's bare bones, you feel the energy and feeling of scarcity, and you don't really want to buy as much. It's a weird psychological ploy that all grocery stores everywhere in the world use. Maybe not North Korea, but we're not going to talk about that. But as a former merchandiser, and I did this and I loved this job because it was such a very Virgo organized job to have, and I felt just so great after I saw my shelves. Like I'd walk in, things be all willy-nilly, and then I'd fix everything and it'd be just perfect. All the cans are facing forward, or the bottles or whatever. It just gave me such a feeling of satisfaction. And I love the job because it was very Virgo, and I love the job because it helped me be more organized and neat and more aware, because I am a clean mind, messy house Virgo, not a clean house, messy mind Virgo. So it gave me more of an awareness of how the other half of Virgos live. But as a result, everything in my house is always facing forward. And for days I've been noticing that all of my shampoo, my conditioner, my soap, my shaving cream was completely facing the wall. And you could just see the little tiny writing on the back and not the actual labels. And I know it's such a weird, bizarre Virgo thing to notice, but I know how I leave my stuff because that job, and it drove me crazy. I'm very, very Virgo. Drive myself crazy more than I drive others crazy, but I knew how I left it. And then I knew how it was when I went to bed, and went to bed, woke up in the morning, went in there, and everything's facing the wall. And I asked the Duende, and the Duende's like, oh yeah, I did that. This is the kind of thing that fairies that are bored or they're mad at you, they'll like do things to irritate you. And that's one of the things that the Duende can do, is turn things. They move little things. They can affect the material world, especially when you say the magical phrase. But I love interacting with my Duende, and my headphones were slightly tied today. And what had happened was I had some money near the Duende, and she loves her money. She loves when I give her money and put money in front of her, and I keep my jewelry next to her, and she seems very happy. But I came home and my headphones were in a knot because I took the 5 that I had left with her in case I needed for the taxi. And I had to explain to her the concept of I needed it to get into the car to go get the things that I need for the house for my son and I to eat and to live. You know, the things that you see when I bring new things, and because she loves it, I bring new things home. And I had explained to her what money does for us. And she didn't understand. I thought that was weird. So I had to tell you guys, Alex, this is so cute. She didn't know, and so she got mad at me, and I didn't explain it to her when I took the money back. And then when I got home, I put the money back for her. But, you know, I'm like, oh, look, I'll give you the money. And she's like, yeah, please, I want it. She likes it. She knows it has value. And she wants the things of value around her. So, like my favorite jewelry that I wear, she has near her. She loves it. And I mean, my jewelry's not terribly expensive. I think my most expensive piece is only $20, right? But she has it and she loves it because she knows I like it. I value it because I wear it. But she had like unfaced all of my shower products to irritate me. Like, she really knows how to just really irk a Virgo. It's hilarious. I love her very much, and she knows that I think she's smiling bigger. I swear to God, the doll that she inhabits, I'm sure, is smiling bigger right now. And she's happy because I explained it to her, and I put a candle near her, and I think she loves that too, and the smell of it, and it's a scented candle, and it's a brown color, and she's an earth spirit, so she's in her heaven. Anyway, all right. Schumann resonance news in Italy was just basically calm and reached power 11. Now, yesterday we did get the energy of the sun. We got 2 quick, rapid plasma bursts towards us. Sarah O'Brien felt it and saw it with her quantum vision while she was doing the show, while I was doing my show. And she said that the divine masculine is struggling with the energy of addiction, whether they had addiction or didn't have addiction, or whether they're questioning whether they have an addiction or not. And she said that energy is going to last about 2 or 3 days. And if a guy, or the divine masculines of us have an addiction, it's going to be addressed, and you're going to be dropping that this week. If you are being spiritually aware and responsible and looking inside and internally really searching for what's going on, that's going to be the energy. Also, getting rid of all the negativity and the darker force energy things, watching violent shows, watching things that have lower base ideas and vibes, like things that will exploit or objectify women, things that will debase yourself as a man. Any of you that are masculine, divine masculine, that's what you're dealing with this week. And women are dealing with the energy of victimhood, of being actual victims of sexual assault or battery at the hands of the divine masculine. That's like one issue, but also stuff that like the wounded child issues, going back way, way, way back. All of those deep, deep, deep wounds. And I think for both divine masculine, divine feminine, the deep, hardcore things that happened in childhood, memories that had been repressed are now coming to the surface to be released and let go of and explored from a different point of view. But she was saying that the energy of the first and second chakra, the sexual identity, sexual things that were hang-ups for you, or maybe even fetishes that you can't possibly have a satisfying sexual experience without those fetishes, and like foot fetish or whatever, like things that are really, she didn't say that, but that's what I'm saying, because I've seen people really struggle with some of these issues. Like men that like to dress up as women, but they don't feel transgender. They just feel like a sexual arousal only when they're wearing women's clothing, and that's like, they get really into it and they love it, and then they end up having a closet full of clothes, and then they end up throwing it away and feeling guilty and ashamed and horrible about it, and then they go back and forth, and it's like this purge and binge cycle of the closet full of women's clothes, and then you get rid of it, you repaint the room, it makes it look masculine again, and then a month later you paint the room pink and you put the closet, and then you put the padlock on the door. I've known a lot of people that went through this. A lot of men I knew struggled with this one. And it's just, for me, I don't judge anyone when they have this kind of a thing going on. And a lot of it is just struggles that started in childhood. Like they can't get sexually aroused unless they have the specific thing, which is a true fetish. And some people just like fun things that are kind of kinky, and there's nothing wrong with that unless it's a hang up, unless it's hanging you up and keeping you from knowing God, from feeling like, if you feel ashamed and sad about who you are in that level, it's time to just let it go. God knows who you are. God did not make us all to be, heteronormative, cisgendered people that hump in the missionary position, okay? Everybody likes things differently. That's what makes the world amazing and fun and a wide variety, And, if you're like a very restrictive religion and you've only been with one person, or you've never been with anybody, you're not going to understand that so much. But if you're coming from a free society where you kind of were raised to believe that as long as you love someone, it's cool to do it. You don't have to be married and have a piece of paper saying that you love each other. And some people just, I need the sexual release, so I'm going to go find someone tonight. Hey, and that's, everyone should live their life the way that they want, the way that makes them feel good and energetically good. Just purge that energy later, cut that tie and that link with that person, or you're going to feel them for 10 years. Go back to I think I did an egg magic episode. I did talk about egg magic, but I can't remember if I did an episode on it or not. Draja Mikaharik wrote an excellent book on egg magic, and I highly recommend the book. It's like $10, worth your money, every penny. But it tells you how to break those ties energetically with other people that you've had sex with. But any kind of sex, I mean, even if you just French kissed and nothing else, and now you're tied to them, you know, it's like, God, you don't want to be tied to everyone always, you know, because sometimes people turn out to be not so nice and not so positive in the energy field, and, you know, but yeah, I just, that's some of the stuff that's going on, basically. So your first and second chakras are being cleared out. That can result in bowel or intestinal distress. It might you might be releasing sexual guilt, sexual frustration, or just regular guilt and regular frustration. You will be working with some core sexual identity issue stuff. I think it's for men and women as well. But that's the pink and purple energy. It's helping alleviate some things that you felt really bad about before. You know, like if anyone ever assaulted you and you blamed the clothing you were wearing, or the fact that you were out late at night, or the fact that you were in a specific part of town and you blamed yourself, it's going to clear up the idea. Because, like, if someone hurt you, assaulted or sexually assaulted you, it's not your fault that they did that to you. It's their fault that they did that to you. They're the rapist, right? They're the bully. They're the violent person, not you. You know, so those are the kind of issues that are being brought up right now. So if you ever went through that, and if you're a woman, chances are you probably have. I mean, I know I've gone through it way too many times to count, to be honest. Just from like verbal harassment to physical harassment to out and out rape. I mean, unfortunately, I've had to experience all that crap as a woman, especially in America, in North America. It happens all the time. Like, I think it's like 4 out of 5. I know in Las Vegas, 4 out of 5 people are like physically assaulted, like hit, punched, robbed. Not just raped, but just like hit in the face or something, you know. I think that was a statistic when I was thinking about moving there. 4 out of 5 people get assaulted. I'm like, well, nope. I moved my kids to Guatemala, you know. I'm not saying that we weren't ever accosted. A couple times things happened, but not like constantly. You know, not like a place like Vegas that wasn't always violent. Most of the people are very sweet, you know. Most people are very cool there. But, yeah, so those are the kind of issues that we're going to be releasing and letting go of this week. And we're going to have a big wave coming. There's some more stuff going to happen tomorrow. And then in January, I think, like on the 13th, as well as this solstice. So we're going to have waves and waves and waves and waves and waves, but some massive events supposed to happen like on January 13th is what Sarah O'Brien, her guides were saying. Anyway, according to heartmath.org, they always have more activity going on than Schumann resonance in Italy anyway. In California, they start off at 42 hertz frequency at midnight, and they went up to 45 by 5 a.m. And Hafuf, Saudi Arabia, just 0 across the board. And that was it. Lithuania started off at 116 hertz frequency on the Schumann resonance scale at midnight, and they went down to 112 hertz frequency by 5 a.m. And Alberta, Canada started off at 58 hertz frequency at midnight, and by 5 a.m. they were at 62. Now, this is another interesting break. Remember how in New Zealand they had this massive number go up, massive spike, and then the not earthquake, hello. Then the volcano went off. It was like this massive spike, volcano went off, and check it out, they've been at 0, straight flatlining all the way across. In fact, they started flatlining at, I want to say, I'm looking at this, okay, at 1900 yesterday. So basically 7 o'clock at night. all of a sudden their Schumann resonance just went down to complete zero. So I thought that was interesting. Now that everyone is kind of, everyone's through that. It's over, I guess, for now. Now, in Hululu, South Africa, I'm going to tell you what their peak was recently. I'm looking through it. Okay. Looks like it was 373. At 2100 hours yesterday. They were at 373 on December 19th. And then 3 hours later at midnight today, 364 hertz frequency at midnight. And then they went down, so they're on a wave and it's going now down. So by 5 a.m. they were down to 328 hertz frequency on the Schumann resonance scale. So when anyone tells you, oh my God, the Schumann resonance was 11 and I feel so calm, and it's like, are you closer to Africa where it's 328 hertz frequency, or were you closer to Italy? Maybe you're closer to, Lithuania or Alberta, Canada with 62. Calmer, but, so just take it with a grain of salt when you hear people going, oh my God, it's so calm many days in a row. Yeah, but it's not calm in all the world. In California, it's 45. 5 o'clock this morning. That's well in the fifth dimension, I don't know why Italy's not. I don't know why they're in 11 or, maybe that's not what it means. I don't know. I look forward to seeing what happens in February with all these numbers. And I wonder what the connection is to the magnetosphere. I just, when they said on Suspicious Observers yesterday that we're going to have to start looking at space weather to predict all of our floods and fires and hurricanes, gale force winds, snow dumps, all the volcanic and geomagnetic activity, the volcanic eruptions and the earthquakes. It's all very predictable when you look at the space weather and how our planet is affected by the plasma waves, by the solar winds, by the cosmic radiation, by the flares that come off the sun, which we don't have any at all. There's one teeny tiny spot. There's like the north coronal hole and the southern coronal hole, and people are keeping an eye on the southern coronal hole because that's the one that's shooting plasma our way, like through the solar winds. We haven't had any flares at all because there's no sunspots. Usually the flares come out of the sunspots. There's one teeny tiny speck over to the left part of the upper left part of the sun. It's like a hot looking speck, and I think in the next few weeks it might turn into a sunspot, which is good. That will give the sun back its magnetic force, its magnetic energy force field, which will help protect us more. But because the sun's magnetosphere and our magnetosphere have been broken, we're getting massive amounts of cosmic radiation. So like I said before, we just have to go along with the idea that we are okay and God has us in his hands and it's not forgetting us. It's the only thing we can imagine that, So, okay, lesson 192. And CourseInMiracles.org or ACIM.org for Foundation for Inner Peace. We are on lesson 192. I have a function God would have me fill. I have a function God would have me fill. It is your Father's holy will that you complete himself, that yourself shall be his sacred Son, forever pure as he, of love created and in love preserved, extending love, creating in its name, forever one with God and with yourself, capital S for higher self. Yet, what can such a function mean within a world of envy, hatred, and attack? Therefore, you have a function in the world in its own terms. For who can understand a language far beyond his simple grasp? Forgiveness represents your function here. It is not God's creation, for it is the means by which untruth can be undone. And who would pardon heaven? Yet on earth you need the means to let illusions go. Creation merely waits for your return to be acknowledged, not to be complete. Creation cannot even be conceived of in the world. It has no meaning here. Forgiveness is the closest it can come to earth. For being heaven-born, it has no form at all. Yet God created one who has the power to translate in form the wholly formless. What he makes are dreams, but of a kind so close to waking that the light of day already shines in them, and eyes already opening. Behold the joyful sights their offerings contain. I'm going to let you guys read the rest of this lesson on your own. acim.org. This is lesson 192. It goes on for 10 paragraphs. Now, I just read you 3, so you got 7 more. And the main thought for the day is, I have a function God would have me fill. All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to hear from Michael Sherhan of Ashtar Command and the Plieadian Light Forces. He wants to talk about, I think, we'll have to see, but I think he wants to talk about lightships. And maybe all the different ships, and maybe he's going to describe what we're seeing in our skies and who is piloting them right after these messages. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you. Alright guys, I'm already connected to Michael Sherhan of Ashtar Command, which is part of the Plieadian Light Forces, or maybe the Plieadian Light Forces are part of Ashtar Command. Maybe he'll actually explain what all this means. And I know we all sound like crazy people when we mention it, because we don't understand really where they come from, other than the 7 sisters, the 7 stars in the sky called the Pleiades. That's their name for it, by the way. I did ask. And we got the name from them directly, since the Pleiadians have actually been with us for a very long time, thousands upon thousands of years. They've played a part in our growth, our evolutionary growth, and our spiritual growth. So Michael Sherhan is going to telepath through me, hopefully about all the different light ships. And so if you do see a UFO or something in the sky, he's going to explain what it is that you are seeing, whether it's a cloaked ship, a light ship, or, well, something else. Hopefully. We'll see where the conversation goes, but I'm going to go ahead and let him speak. But before I do, I want to let you guys know that I am a telepathic, I'm a telepathic indirect channel. I'm going to tell you what that means by giving you the opposite of that. A direct channel is somebody who opens up their body and their energy field so that an entity, whether living or deceased, or, for example, I channeled the sun and the moon and Master Merlin, who passed away, and Michael Sherhan, who is alive. And he is an ET, basically an off-worlder. He's our space brother from another planet. So, and he is here in the upper atmospheres of Earth, or outside of our atmosphere, but he's very close, physically very close to us. But I've channeled people in the Andromeda galaxy who are there, but they project their consciousness here. And some people open up their body and their body's taken over and their vocal cords are used by the spirit, and the spirit moves their body, and when the spirit leaves, they're left with pretty much complete confusion. They don't know what happened. They know that they were channeling. They don't remember anything at all. Now, I am an indirect channel and I'm a telepath, so I use my gift that God gave me of telepathy to hear the voice of the person speaking to me. And sometimes I can interpret what they're saying really quickly, so it's conversationally flowy. It flows. But sometimes it's a little disjointed, and with the Arcturians, sometimes we have issues, and sometimes with the Andromedans, because they have a different cadence, a different way of speaking, a different rhythm, because it's a totally different language and also from a different dimension. Michael Sherhan is living in the fifth dimension, so once we are all physically up in the fifth dimension, we're going to see them physically. We're going to know these people physically. I say people because they look like people. They're not like tentacly aliens with like a bunch of tentacles that's going to freak us out. They look pretty much like normal humans. They look like humans maybe from the Nordic regions, maybe, tall and blonde and gorgeous beyond all get out, basically. Not all aliens or ETs look like this, but Michael Sherhan does, and a lot of the people that serve under his command, they're all, at least what I've seen in my mind's eye, they're all pretty good looking people. I don't know if that's just a thing. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to go into that today. Maybe it's just my perception. Maybe they're ugly and they're projecting a beautiful face towards us. I mean, hey, that can happen too. I'd like to believe he is very handsome. He's got a really sweet and beautiful and loving energy, and he is here literally to be to bridge the gap between his people and our people. He is literally an ambassador, and he's a commander of a light ship, and we're going to get into what all of this means right now. I had to stop it. I had to put a sweater on. I was actually getting cold. Thank God I'm no longer burning up. For like 4 days I was burning up with all this cosmic ray energy, and I feel like for the most part those cosmic, the pulse wave, the shock wave is gone. Like it's already gone through us. It's just gone now. So, and the sun did its thing, and that's done. So I feel calm for now, energetically speaking. We'll see if another one comes in during this, but we'll see. Okay, Michael Sherhan, you are here, and you may begin transmission at any time. I'm connected to you. Muscle testing says yes, so go ahead. Okay, so we ready? Okay. He says, hello, I am Michael Sherhan, that is my name. I work for Ashtar Command, and I also work for the Plieadian Light Forces. Plieadian Light Forces would be maybe the equivalent of your NASA, not your military. We are not a militaristic force. We are, well, basically we could say we're like your Federation in Star Trek, basically. We can't say that we travel to strange new worlds and explore regions of space. We don't do all that like Star Trek does, but we have been working with humans for a very, 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 very long time. Beyond my grandpa's generation, way, many generations back. So we have a great love for humanity. We have a great love for all of you. Your people, your ancestors knew us in many cases. Sometimes people knew us and did not know we were not from Earth. We look very much like Earthlings. We are passable, as you would say, unlike some other races that have contacted you, such as the Lyrans, and we love them very much, very loving and sweet people, but their heads are shaped like your animals, the cats. So you call them the cat-headed people, basically, and they don't really pass as Earthlings. They keep well hidden. When they do show up, they cloak themselves. They are able to remain invisible. But they are a great deal of fun to have around, and they're very, very loving, and all they want to do is help. You know, just they have a very fuzzy, warm, fuzzy personality, and that's not a joke on them being like half cat, half human, or related to cats or what have you. They are just that way. They're very sweet and what you would imagine. But we're not here to talk about all the other races today. Maybe on another episode, maybe when I have more time, I can go into that. But right now, I'm on a break, and I work outside of Earth's atmosphere, pretty far away, actually. We are near Jupiter right now, and we're orbiting, not Jupiter itself, but your sun, the way that, your other planets do. And we're just keeping in contact via telepathy. We can come to Earth, and sometimes we actually do venture towards Earth, and we have a lot of ships that we send. Some are probes, kind of like the idea of drones. And what we do with those is we're monitoring your atmosphere, we're monitoring your weather patterns, we are monitoring your underground lakes, all the things that are under and below the surface, like the earthquakes. We keep a handle on that. We're monitoring your volcanoes and the pressure that is there naturally versus the pressure that is there when the cosmic shock waves and energies such as plasma reach your planet. We're taking readings constantly. We have been studying your planet for a very long time, and we understand what's going on. and why it's going on. We don't study your Schumann resonance as we find it unreliable for our scientific needs and purposes. And we have noticed that a lot of your people tend to rely on the Schumann resonance, but it's only a part of the story. All right, he's like telling me that he knows that I personally have kind of a problem with people saying that the Schumann resonance halfway around the world is what's affecting them now, and using that as an excuse as to why they feel the way they feel when there's Schumann resonance readings that are different all over the planet, and maybe perhaps if there was a reading next to them, that would give them more of an accurate. So he knows that I've been kind of annoyed by this, because people go, oh, it's been so active and I've really felt the energy. And yet 2 weeks ago, when it was like, 600, 700 hertz frequency on another place in the planet, they didn't feel any energy at all. So I feel like it's like it's either that where they live, it's extremely high, but we don't have a reading for it, and that bothers me. I feel like we should all have a reading for where we live. And also, I get upset about, maybe they're not feeling the energy at all, and they're just thinking they're feeling the energy of that at all. And they're feeling energy. I do believe they are feeling energy, but they're not feeling energy from that. They don't know where they're feeling energy from. And most of us, we don't know where the energy is coming from. Most of us, we don't have the sight of it, the quantum vision, to see where the hell the energy is coming from. Like, maybe you have a headache pressure and you think, oh, must be the Schumann resonance. Oh, well, look there, it's a little bit active today, and that's why I have a headache. But maybe why you have a headache is because you ate something wrong, or someone sent you negative energy, or you didn't get enough sleep, or you need caffeine. Or maybe you have a headache because there's a ghost in your room pushing on your head saying, hey, help me release to heaven. Maybe you're a shaman and you don't know it. You know what I mean? So like, there's so many different reasons for why you would feel low in energy or high in energy. And a very little tiny portion of it would be possibly, not 100%, definitely, but possibly the Schumann resonance. So he's kind of commenting to me about me having this annoyance because I don't have, it's not an exact science, and it's annoying me. So, all right, Michael, let's get back into what you were saying, though, because everyone knows my beef with this whole Schumann resonance thing, even though I do report it, because it must mean something, and I know one of us is going to come up with the solution or the answer. One of these days we're going to go, oh my God, and have that eureka moment. When we have that eureka moment, that's going to be when we go, oh, now I get it. I understand what it really is, what it really means. What are these readings for? But we don't know it yet, so it's like, we keep citing that as the reason, but I don't think that's the reason. It's a reading of something that has occurred. It's not something that occurs to you. It's something that occurs based on how you feel. So anyway, so he's like commenting to me on that. Okay, so Michael, let's continue. Let's just move on, be honest. So basically, as I was saying, that we do have readings and we monitor everything. The Schumann resonance is not of much use to us because we take more of our readings about, we are monitoring the edges of your magnetosphere and the giant gash where your magnetosphere should be. We're always monitoring and watching and keeping records of everything that's taken place just on every level, physically, like geologically, geographically. We're watching energy patterns and waves, and we're watching where wars are waged. There sometimes is a correlation and a connection with the way the magnetosphere has been working and the electrical impulses on the earth and the way the weather patterns are and the way the winds are shifting, and whether there's a cold front or a barometric pressure or too much rain, too much sun. And a lot of times we could almost predict when a war is going to break out before there's ever any talk of war among the humans, because we see the energetic patterns and everyone is affected by all the different things, including the space weather. Everything affects the humans. So even though you're living in a planet of where it was up until recently a complete world of duality, and up until recently you had free will, you really truly do not understand the gravity. And there's another one, gravity itself does change in different places, and it's being messed with right now because of the magnetic waves. But to get back to my statement, we are starting to understand more and more and more as things are starting to break down. That's helping us to understand what we saw before. But from your perspective, you don't have enough of the science in place or the data. When we are able to physically be in your world with you, we will share with your scientists that are open, with your scientists who are not going to emotionally and psychologically break down because we're here. When we come to your planet, we are going to share all of our information and data with your scientists, because we believe in open and free sharing for the sake of moving forward science itself. I myself, I am not a scientist, but I believe in it. I'm interested in it. I'm the commander, but on my ship I do have scientists that study a wide variety of things, from botany and plants, and you would be really, really surprised at the way that things like the magnetosphere, how it affects the plants. We can't wait to show you our data on this. We notice that cosmic space dust comes in, and that affects the plants. And we, especially when there's a lot of radiation in that, we see how when your nuclear power plants break down, we take readings on all of that. We watch how the plants grow, the size of the seeds, and we take the data it's incredible the amount of data that we keep track of. And we have many different ships, and we share the data among all the different ships. Kind of like your internet. We have our own version of that, but we use subspace. And that's something we'll get into on a whole nother day. That's a whole nother episode. But the question that was posed to me today by your Alanna is that, or I should say our Alanna, because I feel it's so embarrassing. He says, say it. He says, I feel close to her, as I feel that she and I are becoming really good friends. And so I feel like she is our Alanna, not just yours. She belongs to the world. She thinks that she's doing this for the world, but she doesn't understand that she's also doing this for the galactic forces as well. And she belongs to the cosmos. And by the way, so do you. We are your space brothers and sisters, and we love you so much, just immensely. And this is why we're keeping track of everything on your planet, in your world, and in your ascension journey. So part of this ascension journey does include the disclosure of the other alien races, or the ETs as you call them, the off-worlders or extraterrestrials. There are many, many kinds. We're not going to get into the beings that are negative or low vibration. We're only going to focus on the positive ones today, because they're the ones that are going to be here in the fifth dimension for you. So here we go. Number one, we're going to talk about what is the Plieadian Light Forces I already talked about. I told you that is from the Pleiades, from our planet where we come from, where we hail from or originate from, no matter what you want to call it. It's kind of like your NASA. And we travel here through subspace? No, he says no, I didn't think so. Through FTL and wormhole technology, which FTL means faster than light. So you're saying faster than light and wormhole technology as well? Yes. What? He says it can take us, it depends on the ship that we're using, but it can take us about an hour to get here. From the Pleiades. Oh my God. I can't, you're like boggling my mind right now. That's incredible. Well, that's good. So if we put in a distress call, he's like, no, yeah, we're here in a heartbeat. Okay, and he's saying that they have communications, or comms, they call it comms, but they have communications that go between Earth and the Pleiades, and there's always monitors on them in the event that there is an emotional distress call, and there are people around the planet that know if there's something really major going on to call us. But since the Ascension began, we have been here in your solar system, just watching and monitoring very closely. We're so excited that this is happening now, and we love you guys so much that we are here for you. And so the Ashtar Command is not just my thing. Is that what you said? Okay, yes, I'm doing muscle testing as I'm talking, so I want to make sure I have everything correct. So Ashtar Command, is Ashtar your last name? No, it is not. And is Ashtar Command a Plieadian thing? No, it is not. But the Plieadian Light Forces is, obviously, and the Light Force is. And the Galactic Federation, are you part of that? Yes, we are. And you're part of the Ashtar Command? Yes, we are. Okay, explain what the Ashtar Command is. Ashtar Command is a group, much like on your Earth you have NATO, which is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which has many countries, but not all countries are in, he's saying cahoots, dude. No, it's not cahoots. He's like, or conjunction, there's like a word there that I'm trying to hear and it's not coming through. Co-union, okay. So, all right, I don't know if cahoots came from me or from him. So, they're like basically certain countries are together in co-union under an accord or an agreement that something will happen and something won't happen or whatever. We're not going to go into that because you guys can look that up, or you already know the information there. But in the Galactic Federation, we try to include and incorporate all the planets that are working towards positive growth and spiritual happiness and harmony in the universe. So all of the races of ETs that are interested in furthering all of the races and all of the ETs. So we're all for one and one for all. We are like the Three Musketeers, but we're more like the 3,000 Musketeers. There's so many, and that's just a phrase. Okay, you don't even know. He says, at this moment, I don't even know how many people are, or how many planets or ET races are actually in the Galactic Federation, but it is massive, and you guys are being solicited for membership coming soon. That's awesome. Well, are there a lot of dues? He says, no, there's no dues. We aren't Earthlings that created this. Of course, there's no dues. It's free to join, but it's if you violate the accords and the agreements, then you will drop out of membership. We don't want to say we kick you out or ban you, but you just drop out of membership until you come back into compliance with what this is. But the Ashtar Command is only a few groups that work together, and we are while the Galactic Federation as a whole loves Earth and can't wait for you guys to join the fifth dimension, their main goal is to keep harmony among everyone. So they don't have a central focus on helping the Earthlings or whatever. They're more like, help everybody, love everybody, we're all one. Let's keep that focus and the positive light rays going. But with the Ashtar Command, we are specifically here to help Earth. So can you tell us who is me and Elena talking now? Michael, can you please tell us who is in the Ashtar Command? He says, obviously the Pleiadians are, but not all the Pleiadians, from the Pleiadian planets, from the stars, the Pleiades, but our planet is. And he says, okay, so our planet is, and there are some beings from the Andromeda worlds that are part of the Ashtar Command, and they are helping humanity ascend. And there are Orions, not all of the Orions, of course, because some of them are negative beings, but the positive Orions, who are positive beings, they are also part of the Ashtar Command, here to help humanity. Although they take a step back because their appearance is more startling than the more human-looking ones that, you know, everyone loves cats mostly, or maybe half of your planet loves cats. And so the Lyrans are part of the Ashtar Command, and they are here to lend humor and levity, and we love their energy. But even though they're not very humanoid looking, they are humanoid, but they're not human looking. That's the words I'm looking for. He says, okay, they're not really human looking, but they're friendly enough where you feel comfortable. So they're part of the Ashtar Command. So he says the Lyrans, the Andromedans, the Pleiadians, anyone else, and some Orions. Anyone else? Of course, the Arcturians, they're part of this, but they are really up there, like they're way beyond, they're like 9th to 11th dimensional beings. So it's, sometimes we like to joke, it's hard to get them to our meetings. But they are here and they are working with us, and they are part of the Ashtar Command. So anybody who is here is trying to work towards helping the Earth, right? So most of the beings that you hear from, there are others, but those are the examples that you guys are familiar with. So what do you see in your skies? When sometimes we send our probes, and sometimes you see them, and sometimes they're invisible. When a probe is taking a reading, it's more visible in the sky. And we don't send hundreds of probes all in a group like some of the videos you've seen. Those are literally our people, not our drones taking the readings. Our drones are always invisible unless they stop to take the readings. And when they slow down in density to take the readings, what happens is then they're visible and you can see them if you're paying attention and know what to look for. But still, they're very hard to see. They're very small. But we do have the Plieadian Lightships, and they appear as circular. They appear as triangular. Sometimes they appear, and now when you say triangular, actual white triangle or 3 dots forming a triangle. Both? He's saying both. Okay, good, because I've seen both. All right, good. So it's just, I thought it was a cloud that was extra white. Yes, we cloak our ships many, many times to look like the clouds. We love to play in and around the clouds so that people that are not ready for us will never see us. In a million years, they'll just go, well, that's the clouds. And people that are ready for us will definitely find us. And know that we're here. And know that we're here because we love you. We're brothers and sisters to you. Literally, we have, in some cases, commingled with you genetically, actually. So we literally are related, humans and Pleiadians. You might be listening to this and have Pleiadian blood in your body right now. Many of you are star seeds, so your souls have been with us in our worlds and in the other worlds. But as far as the other sometimes it's your soul, sometimes it's your DNA, and sometimes it's both, is what we're trying to say. And you can have more than one starseed DNA inside your body as well. So moving right along with the descriptions of the ships. All right, here I did adjust the... Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so sometimes there are diamond ships. They are not ours. They are the Lyran's ships, are the ones that are diamond shaped, or they're kind of a squished diamond look. So very, they look like light ships like ours, but they're not Pleiadian. They are sometimes. Okay, showing me. It's like a diamond that's kind of shorter. Like if you're going to measure the angles, it would be obtuse angles on the top and bottom, and acute angles on the right and the left. So they're like a diamond that was squished. And sometimes they appear to have a cupola on top. So it's like, you have to look what a cupola is, but like an extra pyramid on top, and sometimes one on the bottom. Those are the Lyran's ships. And sometimes for fun they project a cat cloud into the sky, because they like to joke around. If one race could be more of a Heyoka shaman than the other, we would have to nominate the Lyrans for that task, because they're very fun, and they love to make people feel comfortable through humor and joking, and just overall in general having fun, having common ground and gentle attitudes towards everything, keeping things a lot more lighthearted. And that's a gift the Lyrans do bring to us. So their ships look like that. Do they have any other kind of ships? No. Our ships also, we have they just look like round white balls. And those are like our shuttlecraft. And our bigger crafts are outside of your atmosphere. You've never seen them. Our big, big, big ones. But, okay, so sometimes you've seen, it's almost like a light ship, but also cloaked but also layers, like layers of a cake with a lot of striations between them, almost like a carousel wheel without the horses. And there's like maybe like one or two layers like a cake on top of that. And sometimes they're stationary and sometimes they're rotating. And some of them have been caught on camera, but mostly they keep themselves cloaked, and they are you're saying the Andromedans? He's saying, yeah, those are like the Andromedan ships. Now, can the Andromedans travel in another way? Yes, they have another ship too. Is it the triangular ones? It's like a saucer shape or cigar? No. I'm sorry, I'm just guessing. I'm just like grasping straws here, guys. He's like trying to come up with a way to describe it. So he says sometimes, and this sounds weird, but they look like a hat, like a top hat, or two top hats, like glued together, facing each other and glued together. So it's like a spinning wheel in the center, and then long on either side. Yeah, he's like trying to come up with another way to describe it. He says those are also like the Andromedan shuttles, and they appear in the clouds as silver, sometimes gold if the sun shines off them the right way. But again, usually they're cloaked, and so you'll see like what looks like a cross, like an equal arm cross, or sometimes a very short, like in the very dead center of an up and down line will be a shorter line going across ways. And when you see that energy, sometimes or many times it is a Andromedan ship. And so now next, the Orions have a ship that's like Will you project that to me? The one that looks like an X? So when I see an X and O, are those all Orions? So it looks like hugs and kisses, but is it sometimes, is it always them? No. Sometimes it's just the clouds making it, All right, so sometimes they'll come as an X or an O, the Orion ones. O for Orion, I guess. And they project almost like a cloud cut out of an X. And these are the positive Orions. They're okay. But they have a ship that you literally will never see. They have extremely high cloaking technology. So let's just leave it at that. When you see an X in the sky, is it always a cloud? It's a cutout in the clouds. It's like an X shape. And sometimes not even that. If there's not enough moisture in the air and they can't generate and project in front of them the energy of like mist to fill in the clouds, basically, then they're not 100% cloaked, but usually their ships themselves are cloaked. It would look like nothing behind it. So it's like a cutout in the clouds shaped like an X, but behind it there's no clouds and there's nothing to see. It just looks like a weird anomaly. Okay, so which leads us to the X, or the square or rectangular clouds. The square and rectangular cutouts, are they the same thing? Yes, they are the same thing, again, depending on the moisture in the air. And they're extremely hard to see, and these are the Arcturian ships. Not only are they higher in dimension, but also they are enormous, and you never think that such a huge chunk of the sky would be taken up by a ship. And so they are square. And a lot of times, if you are someone they have contacted or trying to contact, they will put the image of one of their faces, like they're looking at you. And it's kind of comical the way they do it. They try to do it in a gentle, teasing, comical way so that you will feel comfortable with it. And it'll maybe make you burst out laughing to ease you into the idea of contact on a subconscious level. And they'll oftentimes will put like their faces in the clouds, but if someone is asleep, they're never going to notice that. They'll just go, yeah, weird, clouds are weird. Even if you point out the outline, they'll say, no, that was your camera, or you're taking the picture through, a window, or there's a scientific explanation of that. Even if you're standing outside and you take a picture of it and it's exactly a rectangle and super obvious, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. But for a lot of the time, the sleeping people will never see it. But the Arcturians will never ever be uncloaked. For the most part, they will show themselves through the cloud pictures that they create. And if they know that no one is enlightened in an area, but they want to just come in, what their purpose here is to beam love and light to the planet. And they are always scanning for people who pray for them or ask for them or somehow try to contact them mentally. And they give that person a lot of love and energy until they can be strong enough to hear the telepathic messages. They don't like to take people's bodies over. They can, but they are not really fond of that. They prefer like the indirect method, because it's hard for them to drop down from the 9th dimension, and it's hard for them to expect humans who have been in the 3rd, 4 millennia to raise up even into the 5th dimension. And so it becomes painful for them to do a physical takeover of someone's body because they're so high in dimension. Their ships will literally cut out a square cloud, or they will cut out a hole that's a square or rectangular shape in a big puffy white cloud. That's something that's been happening a lot lately, and that's the explanation for it. As far as, so you said Andromedans, I'm doing muscle testing, you said Andromedans, you said Orions, you said the Pleiadians, you said the Illyrans, and you said the Arcturians. Okay. So is there anything else you want to add? Is there another group you want to talk about? They're saying no, not the time. No, these are all Ashtar Command. Basically the treaty agreement folks that decided to help the Earthlings to ascend. So if you see these in the sky, don't be afraid. Don't feel like, oh my goodness, Earth is under attack. Don't think that way, because we're all here to help humanity. We are 100% constantly meditating, praying, sending love and light into the center of your solar system in many cases, and also into the center of your planet as well. Everything in the whole cosmos and all the universe is being affected by your ascension. So this is an extremely important mission for us. This is a very important mission for all the other ET races that are helping you. And we did not by far mention all of them tonight, just the ones that we know you are familiar with and work with through this person who channels, and he's like laughing, he's kind of pointing at me, and also through this show. Basically, it's the soul group that needs to hear from these people. And if we were going to give a similar talk through someone else, that might be a soul group that deals with other ET races. So for your soul group, these are the ET races you're generally dealing with. There might be more or less, and there might be overlap, but that's just for now the way we want to leave that one. The Arcturians their ships are the most interesting by far, because of the way that they can make cloud shapes and make their ships completely and totally invisible, and yet there's an outline around the edge of them, and it's a plasma-based energy, but it's a very, very high vibrational energy. Sometimes if you look just right, you could see that the outline from the cloaked ship is like glowing. It's emitting like a phosphorescence type of energy. And your cameras don't always pick it up, but sometimes they do, and they will. So the cloud shapes, they're hiding behind the clouds. The square or rectangular shapes are cut out of clouds. They are there, but okay, so he's saying that their vibration is so high that it's taking out the excess moisture in the air around their ships, which is why it is just a square cut out in the cloud. It looks freaky to you guys because it never happened before a few years ago. And all right, I'm getting my wires crossed with something else, and I'm like in such a deep trance, and then starting to get tired here. It takes a lot of energy to do this channeling. So all right, so are you here? Yeah, okay, I'm still connected. Okay, I'm just asking. So he's trying to show me the scientific technology behind it. My mind's just like, nope, and trying to shut down. Okay, let me get this. So it's when sometimes they're riding on a super high vibrational energy and level, and they go up higher even. And when they go up into like the 11th dimension, that's when you get the cloud cutouts. But the ship itself is still there. And when you get the 9th dimension, you get the square clouds when they're in the 9th dimension. It's a lot more physics and math than we care to get into at this point. We could explain it to those of you who are very scientifically minded and you know a lot about this stuff and you want to learn more about the dimensions. Just ask us, and we're more than happy. We're more than happy to help you. More than happy to help you, because we are looking for good scientists from your planet who are interested in this stuff, who really want to further the exploration of it and understand the dimensions, because after you're in the 5th dimension, you're going to have to basically, well, for us, it's like going to kindergarten. But we're going to have to explain one by one what all the different dimensions are, what they mean, what they do, what they look like, how do you experience them, you know, how you go from density to very little density. And we are not too far up from where you are. We're just in a different density. We are literally less dense than you. That's not a commentary on your intellectual capability, but it's a commentary on how your matter, the structure of your matter, is arranged cellularly. So, is there any other kinds of ships we forgot? He's saying stay away from scar-shaped ships. We don't want to talk about why, but just if you see something like that, just go inside, don't engage them. Maybe take a purifying bath or the shower and just start chanting, meditating, doing something spiritual or fun with your kids if you have kids, or just do something that will 100% take your mind off that. So that's all we can say about the cigar-shaped ships right now. We are sending you, are you literally saying the energy of flowers? He says, we're sending you the energy of white flowers for peace and purity and joy. Hopefully you can hear this. Really, you did that? Oh my God, you guys, earlier tonight I was watching YouTube with my son. We were watching, this is one of the most adorable things I ever saw in my life. It was a Christmas holiday music with squirrels inside a house opening Christmas gifts, actual squirrels, apparently this man's pets. And he had these like birds, I think they're called chickadees, and it was like super adorable. And then while we're watching that, on my feed came up the Von Trapp children's grandchildren from The Sound of Music. Apparently it was a real show. I mean, a real story, a movie based on a real story. So anyway, the Von Trapp family, they were singing the song Edelweiss, which is one of my favorite songs from The Sound of Music. And the son didn't know what an Edelweiss was. He's trying to guess. Like, I think he said some kind of apple, or maybe apple with beer in it, or I don't know what he said. Caramel apple, I don't know. He's like, some kind of apple with cinnamon or something, right? Yeah. And he said no, and I told him no. It was like, an Edelweiss is a little flower, and it blankets the hillsides, and it's like this white beautiful, innocent, and pure flower, and it's really small but very hardy, and it's very symbolic of the people living in I want to say Austria or Switzerland or whatever, and it's one of those flowers that just, when people see it from that area, they just get kind of sentimental, and it's very symbolic of how they wish to be. You know, it's hope after the winter. They symbolize spring and freedom and joy and happiness and the sturdiness and hardiness of the people. They, every year after year, even after the snows, they're very hardy flowers that come back. And that's just how the people are. They're very resilient. And so the Edelweiss it's a very small and delicate flower, but at the same time, very strong. So it's a metaphor for the life of the people there. So I was explaining that to my son earlier. So that's why he's like, we send you white flowers. So he literally put that, he's just telling me he put that little Von Trapp's singing the Edelweiss song because he knew I was going to get the message to be strong and resilient. What? Now he's teasing me. He's saying, well, and also I'm calling you little and white, like a little white flower. Thank you so much. He's like, it's a compliment if it sounds bad. Yeah, it's only because you're like so much taller than me. He's like laughing. But he says, we'll always send you little white flowers or little white symbols that will keep you going on your path and your journey. If you wish to connect with us and you say, hey, Plieadians, we want to connect with you. Ashtar Command, we want to connect with you. And then you'll get more than just Plieadians. You'll get all the other people that are in this basically like the treaty, or, it's like a sub-organization to the Galactic Federation. It's a specialty organization only working with Earthlings to ascend right now. That's the mission right now. And they have other missions, but that's the one right now. And then the Plieadian Light Forces, literally, it's just like our NASA, but so much better because we have a lot better technology. We've been around millions of years. And what we do love and see the fledgling little baby NASA, even though it's been less than 100 years. So for them, that's like kind of a baby. He says, we are sending more and more light ships from Ashtar Command itself, as well as the Pleiadians. And it's not just the satellite probes that are taking readings from your planet, pictures, readings, and putting all the data together. What it is a lot of times, lately anyway, is that we pray and pray and pray, and we beam our love and our prayers and our energy and our power towards Earth, and we want you to know we are here with a message of love, peace, unity. Not only humans uniting with other humans, but humans uniting with all of your galactic space brothers and sisters, and indeed with all of the parts of the universe. And also we want you to know we all love and come from the same God, the Prime Creator, and we are always pointing our energy and our unity energy between you, us, and Prime Creator, all of us together. We're all just in the universe together, or universes together, and these timelines together, and these dimensions together. And we're all just trying to go back to God. We're all trying to go back to Prime Creator. And we are here with a message of love, hope, and peace and power. We want you to be like those little strong white flowers that just are so resilient in humanity. You guys are so resilient. We've seen it time and time and time again in 1,000,001 examples. Times 10 to the 1,000th power, if you will. We are so proud of our human brothers and sisters, and we're so excited about the idea that we're coming into this world with you, and we're physically going to meet. We will embrace you and share our food and our recipes for life and love and success, and our bread and our desserts. And we're going to show you what we know. We're going to show you hand clapping games for your children, and new ways to play for the children. And we're going to show the adults new ways to meditate, and new ways to manifest, and new ways to look at the universe. And we're going to show you picture books of the universe. We're going to show you things that you can't begin to comprehend right now. We're going to give you technology that will save your world. We pray for you all the time. We love you all the time. And we are always here. And you know it, because now we're allowing our light ships to come closer to the surface of the Earth. Before we were up in the upper atmosphere, but now we are closer to the surface of the Earth, because we want you to know we're here. We are loving you. We love you. We're sending you love. We're sending you light. Physically, you see our light. And when you see it, we don't want you to panic. We want you to understand we're just your brothers. We're here to say hello. And that's pretty much what our whole message is tonight. So hopefully this gave you more of a thorough idea of what's happening with all of this, because we know that these words sound strange and that the channelers are looking pretty kooky. Schizophrenia, or mentally ill. We know that it sounds strange to many of you, especially when you're first waking up. You start looking for a spiritual thing, and you find a show like this, and then you hear these words, and you're like, Galactic Federation, this person's out of their mind, right? Until you understand what it is and who we are. And it's going to take you a while if you're brand new waking up to this, but we're going to give you new medicine. We're going to give you a way to never be sick again. We're going to help everything. Don't worry. Everything, help is on its way. Your big brothers and sisters, we are on our way to help you, to love you. And right now, we're just going to help you transition physically into the fifth dimension. It's going to be rough for a while, but you're doing it. You're already doing it, and you've already gone through several stages of it. You're saying 30%? We're already 30% physically transformed into the fifth dimension already? He says yes. Some of you are at 40% capacity already. Is anyone at 50? No one's at 50 yet. 45%, yes. That's it. A handful of you are at 47%. No more than that. So, and those are the people that have been like, meditating, praying in the Himalaya mountains, basically, that don't have anything better to do but completely focus on this and nothing else. And they don't subscribe to Netflix. He's like laughing. He's like, it's okay if you subscribe to Netflix. You're still going to fly into the fifth dimension. Don't worry. Fly is not the right word, but rise. That's what he's trying to say. All right, well, that's it. We got to stop because we're at that time. He says, thank you for listening, and we love you so much, and we are here. Call out to us when you want to see us. Let us know you want us in your lives, and we will come. The more people ask for us, the more we will be on the planet. Soon as you get to the fifth, we'll drop down, and you guys raise up, and we're going to meet in the middle. That's how it's going to work. All right, guys, that's it. That's all he's got to say. And he's bowing and he's saying namaste. All right. Thank you, Michael Sherhan. That's it, guys. Thank you for being on this ascension journey with me. Happy solstice. And well, that's all I got to say about that for now, honestly. Yeah, I'm tired and getting this out very late. Had a lot of crazy technical difficulties. By the way, my sense of smell is back suddenly out of nowhere. A lot of crazy energy stuff going on, but I'm starting to feel hot in the past hour. It's just Michael Sherhan. He's so hot, he's making me hot. All right. Well, that's it for now. Send in your stories of miracles. You still got a few more days for that. Christmas miracles, holiday miracles, send the stories in so I could read them on Christmas Eve. Also, predictions for next year, send them. MetaphysicalSoulspeak@gmail.com. I want to hear your 2020 predictions in any category and tell us how you arrived at the prediction. All right, love you guys. Signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Till next time, guys. Peace out. Do you ever wish you could look into the next chapter in your book of life and see what's coming next? What does the universe have in store for you? I can help you with that. I will give you a Celtic cross reading, which is 10 cards, or you can ask me 3 questions, and I use 3 cards per question. So that's 9 cards, or I can channel your higher guidance, or maybe God directly for you. Maybe you want to talk to your dear departed Aunt Edna, because maybe you have a few questions and she was the smartest person you knew. If your deceased relatives are available or your ascended masters, I can channel them for you personally. Let me have 1 hour to show you the future in your next chapter of your book of life. Readings are $75, and it takes me an hour to an hour and a half to complete. And for this price, you will also be hooked up to the healing grid around the planet for free, which means yours truly, me, I will be giving you Reiki 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life. All you have to do is let me know. MetaphysicalSoulspeak@gmail.com, and we will explore your future together.